Okay, so this is a much less dynamic update from me here from my sofa. I can't even be asked to move on this video, but I wanted to just do a quick summary after the session I had yesterday, which was not very good. I came back, I analyzed, and I realized I needed to be um, much more commanding in my approach, which is how I like. I was thinking, how do I really like to approach? I like to be quite commanding, quite fun, but quite commanding. That'll be the word. So that was the approach today. That was what I had in my head. Before I went out, I kind of got myself into this psyche, right, of the command and conquer type of psyche. Just thinking of myself, basically like el general, el patron. That was the kind of approach, right? And so I go out to do the session, and I made a classic mistake which I've made in the past, which is you get yourself in a good frame of mind, and then I walked 25 minutes in a searing heat before I even was in the right area to approach. There was basically nothing. It was just like nothing in the streets until this one area. So that sort of peaking, mentality, it does you do it's hard. You can't maintain that for like 25 minutes, or I couldn't anyway. So by the time I actually got to the area, I was kind of like, oh fucking hell, what do I do? I got myself geared up again. But then I'm thinking, shit, I need to also remember, like, I also need to be humble as well, because it's cold approach this weird combination of humility and arrogance. I you have to be humble to do it to begin with, because you face rejection, you face a possibility of rejection rather, and you're going after a girl in this chivalric way. But you also have to be arrogant, and bold as well. It's a really interesting combination. You have to be both. And so I got there, I was in this command and conquer mode. I'm like, wait, shit, I need to remember the humility as well to actually go after things. So I missed a few, and then started going in. Um, a few girls like just didn't want to stop, which is quite weird for me when that happens, but whatever, just plowed on and eventually got two really nice blondes to stop together. They were the most attractive, and they were by far the most attractive, and they were really interested. I didn't close them because it was one of those after a while where I felt like I actually I don't actually feel that attracted to these girls. Like I just kind of looked at them like Barbie dolls or something. Or not Barbie dolls, but just like Russian dolls. But it was a great approach anyway with those two. And that was probably about the fifth approach of the morning. Were there any other good ones this morning? No, I think that was the good one this morning. The first four were just, I think two or three didn't stop, and then I can't exactly remember the details, but I just remember finishing on that fifth one. Broke for lunch, broke for to go to a different place. It was very hot, so decided I'm going to go down to a mall. Went into the mall, and what happened in the mall? Um, what did happen in the mall? I did do some approach. I think I did about three or four approaches in the mall. The one that was memorable, nothing really stands out to be honest. Um, the one that was memorable was the a mother and daughter, and I said to them, "Oh, are you mother and daughter? You look incredibly glamorous." And it was funny. They were sat down at a cafe. The mum looked so fucked off when I said that. And the daughter was like, the daughter was buzzing. The daughter was like really taking a compliment. The daughter's fucking mint. Um, and it was so funny because I bet the mum was one of those competitive mums who just like didn't want to be seen as a mother. I'd say she was probably mid 40s, but probably could have passed for like bang on 40 or probably bang on 40. And no, the daughter was I'd say she's probably about 20. Um, so that was quite funny. It was a weird combo. And eventually I just sort of wished them well. Um, those kind of moments of awkwardness where things go to shit a little bit, and it just like I there's no format for that, to be honest. They could have responded quite well, and one of them did. I'm like, what the fuck do I do now? The mum's got, my mind is like, who's the authority? What the fuck am I doing here? Who's the authority here? The mother or the daughter. Obviously, I wanted it. I'm not fucking interested in a 45-year-old. But anyway, so that was funny. Um, that was probably the main takeaway. I did a lot of hit and run compliments. I didn't quite feel that aggression. Um, you know, there's only so much you can generate that. I think for me to generate that for certain brackets of women, shall we say, is it's almost like the DNA basically will do it for me. With these women, they are attractive, but it's like that visceral passion of DNA isn't quite the same as it is some of the countries I've been in. But it was still very much worth doing. It was good to get out and actually do a good proper session again today. So it was like a makeup session in a way for yesterday. Big improvement today. Felt more myself. I was still missing too many though, and that's something I do just feel weird doing it on my own. I really do. I did it for a calendar year last year, and in different countries and stuff. And it took me, the second country I was in, eventually I acclimatized to doing it solo. And I'd say probably the last 3 or 4 sessions I did, I really didn't even want to go out. I was just doing them to see out the year. And this is the point I'm going to get to now. I did a year of cold approach last year, daytime approach. I've done loads of approach before that, but I did daytime approach. And by the end, I was like, okay, I can basically do this now. I'm still way better when I've got a wing with me because I just feel like more normal when I've got a wing with me. It's like whatever happens, I literally couldn't give a shit. I'll just laugh it off with my friend. Whereas when I'm solo, part of me self perceives like if things don't go well, it's kind of like I feel it, like I actually feel it more. Whereas when I'm with a friend, it just I literally truly don't care. And that's actually when I almost feel just completely all powerful in some scenarios. Um, so anyway, this year again, I'm solo and I'm going to be traveling solo predominantly for the year. I'll probably have some friends come in and out, but predominantly. And I was thinking to myself, okay, do I want to be going out doing these big solo sessions again this entire calendar year at 38 years old? And the answer is actually no, I don't. No, I don't. I did it last year. I did it for the experience last year. Like, what do I need to prove to myself? I need to go through the whole thing all over again in the same format. And do I have other better things to do? And the answer is yeah, I actually do have other better things to do. So I was looking at it, I was analysing, going, okay, I think what I need to do is set a different strategy where I go out and I do 3 approaches. Let's say my big session is now an approach session of 3, and it's aggressive as fuck. And the main goal is going to be don't miss any. So even if the session's done 7 minutes after leaving my house, that's fine. And I think that would be a positive thing to do this year, or let's say while I'm here, or until such time as basically I get a nice Serbian girlfriend for a little while. Because actually my priority is not to spend. I've done about 20 approaches this weekend. My priority is not to spend time in this way this calendar year. I went September to September. I went June to June. I had a little break. Now it's September. This year, I've got other priorities, big priorities that I want to do. And even me being out in this part of the world, the Slavic world, the Orthodox Christian world, different language, Cyrillic, different alphabet. That's the Cyrillic alphabet, the original version of Christianity, all these. There's lots of fascinating things for me to do around this part of the world, intellectual things, mental things, different hobbies, true traveling, and obviously working on my business as well. I don't really want to prioritize cold approach again for another year. but I'm going to just do it as my little, you know, I'll have a little slot, whatever, per week until I don't, basically. And so that's going to be the plan going forward, is on a weekend, if I'm single for the time being, go out and go bang, bang, bang. Saturday, probably do the same Sunday, but we'll see. And then also just go out in a few evenings and just walk around and just speak to people I want to speak to, and just do it in a fun way, in an enjoyable way, not go on these like balls to the wall sessions that I did last year, and which I know where they end up going anyway. For me, they end up just feeling fucking weird. So yeah, that's the plan going forward. I'm glad I had this weekend to kind of, really go at it and solidify that. I felt I didn't quite make a breakthrough today, but I sort of got to a halfway point to almost making a breakthrough. Getting used to Slavic girls, they are positive actually. Some of them respond super positively to the approach, but then some of them are just like they won't even stop. Yeah, it's weird though. The positives have been pretty good when I think about it. Positives have been pretty good. And ironically, this is always the case, isn't it? The best girls, the fittest girls, they responded the best. They responded the best. So I think I'm going to be going like almost like HIIT training, where it's the maximum level of intensity on the fittest, most. I do still with certain profiles of girls, I get a little intimidated still. I'm not sure why that is. It doesn't really matter. I had that last year in the DR, and actually I've got over it. I remember one approach I did was with a friend, and the girl, for some business, it's usually the girls I perceive to be like, they're not even the fittest. There's something about them which is very self-contained, and they somehow intimidate me in a fucking weird way. I don't know what the psychology is there. But I remember doing an approach last year on a girl like that, or maybe they were the kind of girls who they were just, they're attractive in like when you're young, and they're very complacent with everything is very easy for them and everything is very perfect and they're very complacent. Those kind of girls strangely intimidate me on a base level, but I got over that last year. I did like some approaches on one or two girls like last year, and it's like, who gives a shit? But I've had it a little bit this year, so it's embarrassing to admit that, to be honest. At 38, it is embarrassing to admit that, but we are in this odyssey of the mind. This is what daytime approach is. It's an odyssey of the mind. As Nietzsche would call it, you encounter a minotaur of conscience. Like, there's this thing living in your head. You're like, what the fuck are you doing here? Fucking minotaur. Fucking gonna come and fuck you up. So, yeah, that was going to be the plan, basically. Go and do the HIIT version of daytime cold approach. No warm-ups, just absolute, barbarism as soon as I get out the gate. And basically get the session over as soon as possible. And actually, honestly, like, I was thinking, I know there's guys doing a lot of approaches in the entourage. I'm like, I don't need to do 10 fucking approaches. I shouldn't even need to do 3. Honestly, I should just be able to do 1. The other night I did 2, and I had an instant date, and I got like a closed, basically fucking Bond girl. I did 2 approaches. At this stage, I should be running things more in that way. Doing long fucking sessions just to get the experience. So like, I fucking need to do that. I've done it. I've done it now. I've done it. So HIIT cold approach is going to be the approach going forward, and then I can just think about, frankly, other things that I'm here for. Business, spiritual exploration, fucking God, orthodoxy, that's what I'm really here for. I'm not really here. If I was just going for girls, there's no way I wouldn't be in fucking Serbia. I wouldn't even be in Europe. I'd be in the fucking Caribbean, or maybe Africa. So, yeah, I'm just contextualizing for myself. Okay, what am I here for? Right. Let's keep on track with that. But I was still glad to get out today, do a good session. and it's like, okay, I'm back, basically. So I thought I just wanted to post an update, because yesterday's video was like, I was kind of scratching my head, like, what am I doing here? What's going on? Why don't I have conviction? And I realized for me to have conviction is different for every guy. Some guys, they want to feel whatever. I want to kind of feel fun, but quite commanding. That's overwhelmingly what I would say is the word commanding. You know, that's what makes me feel good. Some people are just very giving and that type of thing. That's cool. But I like to feel quite commanding. That's what works for me. So yeah, good session, good chance to analyze and self-reflect after a meeting I had with the entourage. Really fucking good meeting today. And yeah, I've got my strategy going forward. Down prioritize women. That's fine. Still deal with them. Still going to get some dates. Still going to do bits and pieces. But actually, there are more important things. There are more important things that I want to be handling. And I've got a great opportunity, maybe even a unique opportunity in my life right now, to be where I am in this incredible place, this incredible environment. So literally living like, I'm on a spiritual retreat. I'm literally living 15 seconds from the largest cathedral in Serbia. It's fucking astonishing. I might do a video on that. It's not really the general theme of this channel, but I might do a video on that because I think it's really interesting as well. So I'll leave things there. That's an update to any viewers. The 7 viewers that I have, probably all members of the entourage, plus a guy from Bosnia. How you doing, mate? Laku noć. And yeah, have a good night.